tons and tons of realtors out there, tons of real estate agents. You set yourself apart. You're in the top 1%. Like, what is it about you? What was it about the way that you approached your career that allowed you to not just thrive, but to take it to that exceptional level where you're kind of sitting above the rest of the pack? Like, what were some of the traits and characteristics about you that led to the unique success that you enjoyed?
So the first thing is you have to start with why.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it? And most people choose money. They choose material items, things that won't last. And that's probably the wrong way to start any endeavor that you do is like, oh, I wanted money, I want to be famous and those kind of things, because that won't pull you through in those dark moments when things are tough. So I'm sure you guys have had difficult times on the podcast trying to launch it or things like just a lot of barriers that come up that no one talks about. And in those moments of having those barriers, you have to have a why deep enough that's beyond the money that's going to pull you through a bigger cause. So my cause was in 2005, my mother ended up being a victim of predatory lending. She's first generation from Mexico, bought us our first home. Like, we grew up really, really poor, 1-bedroom apartment. 2005 buys our first home. 2007, sheriff's knocking at the door, evicting us out of the property. I'm now 22, something like that, living in my uncle's garage, super embarrassed and humbled because friends are asking what happened to my house. And in 2013, when I got my license, I remember working for a friend of mine and all of his clients were crying and they were upset. They were all just pissed off.
Yeah.
And I asked, why are all your clients like mad, dude? Like, do you suck at your job or what's going on?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's just that they're all losing their house.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, he explained what happened to me. I'm like, oh, that happened to me in 2000. So this whole full circle moment happened. And so I ended up being the guy who wanted to advocate for first generation, first time buyers and sellers. Low credit, low income, I was that guy. That was my why. My why was, at that point, isn't anymore. At that point was, I'm going to advocate for the single mothers who are being taken advantage of, who have 2 kids, who have a son and daughter, that don't know any better, that want the American dream, and I'm getting ripped away from them because someone was greedy. So that was my why. So when I started door knocking and cold calling, and it was tough, man, that was really hard. But that why was what pulled me forward. Now you asked a couple of other questions about like skill sets and everything else. And then I realized there had to be a moment where I wanted to turn this hustle into professionalism.
Yeah.
So I had to acquire skills. I just couldn't be this cool guy with a noble story, a noble why.
Sure.
I had to have skill set behind it. So then I got heavily involved in public speaking. Signed up with this group called Toastmasters.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
They're awesome, man.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, cool people. So I mean, the group it's nationwide. It's a nonprofit organization. For all those who don't know, nonprofit organization, toastmasters.org. And it's all public speaking and leadership skills. So they're going to help you develop all that. So you go from a kid who graduated high school 3 years late getting his GED, who disliked school at a very high level, didn't know how to make eye contact, didn't know how to communicate with people, couldn't sit across the table from someone like this and carry a cogent conversation. So what did I have to do? I had to teach myself how to speak.
Yeah.
So I signed up for like 10 years taking Toastmasters every single Saturday.
10 years.
10 years at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning when people were barely waking up, going to the gym, going to work.
Or hungover,
right?
Yeah.
Whatever it was. I wanted to change so bad because there was this why that was big enough. So communication skills were huge. The second thing were sales skills. So there's an expression about communication that says everyone can talk, but few can connect. And everyone has a message, but sometimes there's people who have messages and it's just like, wah, wah, and you just want to shut off.
Yeah.
Because you haven't learned how to communicate that message.
Yeah.
And then you have sales skills. How do I connect with someone like Steve?
Sure.
How do I connect with someone like Adrian? How do I connect with all these different people who are out there? Well, I first have to know, identify your personality type, how to communicate, what motivates you. So in sales, there's something called, in life, you have something called the golden rule, which is treat other people how you want to be treated. But in sales, we go off the platinum rule, which is treat other people how they want to be treated. Golden rule, treat other how you want to be treated. Sales, treat people how they want to be treated. And that's what I identified. How does Steve want to be treated? How does he like to communicate? What triggers does he have? What motivates him? What inspires him? And rather than just sliding a piece of paper over and saying, fill this out so I can learn about you, you have to get really good at sales and know what questions to ask. Pay attention to like nonverbal communication cues. How does he nod his head? What's his tonality like? What's his speed and pitch rate? Someone in New York, very fast talker.
Yeah.
Hands. Someone in Texas, very relaxed, laid back. And they don't like those city slick and talk people over there talking too fast. I don't trust them over there.
Yep.
They won't shake my hand and put my hand in my chest, make eye contact, those kind of people.
Yeah.
I got to identify all those people that I'm working with because I don't just want to work with people who are my type. I want to work with people who are everyone. So how do I capture the biggest percentage of the pie? Sales skills. So you communicate, you learn how to sell, you learn how to close, you learn how to present, which is a completely different skill as well. And then you have systems, processes, and all those other things in between there. But if you truly want to master your craft, then you have to become obsessed with every facet of the business. Not just learning how to get your license, sign a contract, how to communicate, how to connect, how to sell, how to close, how to present, and then systematize your business from there.